That fat weight loss that you experienced, well, I'm sorry to say it probably wasn't fat. And if you don't understand that, you're going to sabotage yourself the moment it slows down. Because when the scale stops moving, most people begin to panic and they quit right before progress resumes. So we expect weight loss to look like a straight line. Actually, down this way, right? Down, down, down. But real fat loss almost never works that way. It starts fast, then it slows, and then it stalls. And that stall phase is where confidence really begins to disappear. So let's break down why this happens in the first place. So, in the beginning, most of what you lose isn't pure fat, it's water. And when you reduce carbohydrates or you simply eat less, your glycogen stores begin to drop. And glycogen, which is a storage form of sugar, it holds on to water. It holds on to water really tight. There's a reason that carbohydrates have hydrate in them because that those carbohydrates and that glycogen hold on to the water. So when glycogen falls, water falls as well. And that's why the scale can drop very quickly in the first week and it feels powerful. It feels good, right? But it's mostly your body emptying your storage, not melting fat overnight. And when that water shift finishes, the speed at which you lose the weight begins to change. So here's a quick check for you. Did your weight drop fast in the first 7 to 10 days and then slow right after that? That's usually water first and then fat, which comes later. Now, here's what most people miss. You eat less. Without realizing it, you also begin to move less. Fewer steps, less fidgeting around, or non-motor movements. And you start to sit even a little bit more slightly throughout the day. And you don't really feel very different, but your daily burn drops a little bit. And your body protects energy when intake drops. So even 100 to 200 calories less per day creates less movement per day. And this can slow your progress. So think about your last plateau, your last diet plateau. During that time where you're just a bit more tired, that small shift is adaptation, not failure. So let me explain something most people never hear. Here's the frustrating part. You can be losing fat and the scale, it doesn't move. Because body weight fluctuates from several things, such as water retention, stress, sleep, new workouts, salt intake. Fat loss can happen quietly while water masks it. And that's why some people plateau for about 10 to 14 days. Yeah, that's a really long time. And then the magic happens. It suddenly begins to drop. That weight starts to finally come off. And it wasn't magic. The scale finally caught up. So if your waist feels tighter, but the number hasn't changed, you may not be stuck. You may just be buffering. So when progress slows, people assume that the plan stopped working. So they react emotionally. They cut more food. They add more workouts. They extend their fasting. They start to experience more stress and more fatigue. They start to gain more water or water retention. And then they say, I've tried everything, but nothing seems to work for me. But often they responded to a very normal phase with an extreme overreaction. So, what actually helps? So, if your progress has slowed, you want to zoom out. Watch weekly trends, not daily numbers. Never ever check your weight on a daily basis. There are going to be normal fluctuations. One day you're going to be heavier, one day you're going to be lighter. So, you need to track weekly trends. You also want to track another metric, maybe even more important than what the scale says, and that's your waist size. Measure your waist size with a cloth measuring tape. You also want to do photos, and you want to check how your clothing fits you. Those are much more important metrics than what it says on the scale. Because on the scale, you don't know if that's water weight, fat weight, or loss of muscle, loss of bone. So those things are really important. And the best metric to follow is actually how you feel, how your clothes fit on you, what you look like. So you want to stabilize before escalating. You want to focus on sleep. You want to focus on steps and getting adequate protein and reducing stress. So most plateaus aren't solved by going harder. They're solved by staying steady. Stay on the course, don't deviate. So here's what's really happening. The early drop is mostly water. Then your body adapts quietly, and the scale can hide real fat loss. It's subtle, it's adaptive, and it tricks people into quitting right before the next drop. So make sure that you stay on the plan, continue on, even if it doesn't look like you're making progress, because you are. So tell me, fast drop, then stuck, plateau, even with consistency, scale doesn't seem to move, but your clothes fit better. Are you having any of these things happen? So comment 1, 2, or 3, because your answer changes the strategy completely. So number 1 is fast drop and then get stuck. Number 2 was plateau, even with consistency. And number 3, the scale didn't move, but your clothes fit better. And stay tuned, because in the next video, which is going to be called Why You're Doing Everything Right But Not Losing Fat, we're going to talk about the deeper blockers, things that slow fat loss even when your discipline is strong. Because sometimes it's not adaptation at all. It's something you're actually overlooking. And make sure to subscribe if you don't want to keep guessing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.